Hey, it's Dave Brown here, host of Now with Dave Brown on AMI. Check out this latest highlight from the show. Let's head downtown, hop on the old Don Valley Trail, make our way to catch up with community reporter Elizabeth Mohler in Toronto. Hey, good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Dave. I like that new music you've got going on there. Very summery.
Yeah, trying to get some summer vibes into this mix, Elizabeth. So I definitely looking
Excellent.
forward to that one. Hey, Elizabeth, there's a rumor going around, and by rumor, I mean it was written in a piece of paper for me, that you're preparing to go back to school in London. And because of that, you're learning how to navigate or possibly re-navigate Union Station in Toronto, a place that can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. So, Elizabeth, tell us a bit about your experience.
Well, I think that one of the things that was the most challenging for me was just sort of wrapping my head around that the old Union Station, as we know it, the Go Concourse, is no more. So I was pretty familiar with Union, knew it like the back of my hand, but now we've got no more sort of the center platform. We've got side platforms. We have a streetcar that pulls in right on the platform level. So I had to really relearn and unlearn all my old landmarks and relearn my new ones. So that meant some orientation and mobility lessons to figure out what end of the platform am I going to get on? How am I going to locate the Presto gates? I still sometimes call them the turnstiles, but no one probably knows what that is anymore. And then once I've done that, how am I going to find some landmarks in the concourse, the main concourse? The challenge is the construction's still going on. So you're trying to build in these landmarks, and you come back the next week and, oh, that's gone. So the biggest change is it's a lot more open in the main Go Concourse. There's a lot more light, which can be challenging for some of us with low vision because the light can bounce off of things. The open spaces make it harder to trail a wall. So what I found is coming into a set of doors and then using that same set of doors every time and being able to angle and find the escalators works really well. And then, of course, when you get up into sort of the main shopping area, as you're going to walk up into the Union Station proper where the Via is, a lot of the stores still haven't opened yet. So you're kind of trying to build landmarks in that aren't quite there yet. I have found using tools like IRA helpful if you can tell the agent I'm looking for an escalator, or I'm looking for a set of stairs, or I'm looking for the big clock in Union Station. That hasn't changed. That can be helpful to sort of preempt what you're looking for. But I think, in terms of what's changed, a lot bigger in the Go area, a lot more restaurants, a lot more open space, a lot more light. And the other thing I would say is that there's a lot more entrances and exits. So it's a little bit difficult to sort of find the same one and come in and out of the space.
Yeah. It's fair to say that Union has been in transition forever.
A decade at least.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever came to Toronto on business through Union Station in 2011, some of the construction was already underway, and I've passed through that station many, many a time since. And as you say, it's never, ever, ever the same. Elizabeth, any tips in regards to navigating the space?
I do have a couple, actually. So with Go and Via, you can actually call ahead and have an employee meet you. So I did not know this, but you can actually indicate where you're going to be, and this is really important. You need to have a really good landmark that they can find you at, and you can have an employee meet you to take you to your train. So I could say I'm going to be at under the big clock tower at Union Station, up where the Via trains are, and an employee can come meet you. So I do recommend trying to use that if you're not as familiar. It really is helpful if you can give enough notice. So if when you're booking your ticket, try to do it as far in advance as you can. So there is a help number. That's really great. I would also suggest if you can use apps like IRA or Be My Eyes. As far as I know, Union Station is not a free hotspot for IRA yet, although I would love to see that. But the other thing that I have found really helpful is there is some really good tactile plating on the subway platform. So when you get off the train, you can actually follow this tactile plating right up to the first set of stairs that you get to, and then all the way up the stairs to the Presto gate. So there is some really good landmarks on the floor to be able to follow where you're going. And because it's not a center platform, it is nice because you can follow a wall to some extent, which is a little bit more helpful than on the old center platforms where you really had to have your wits about you as you were traveling. And for those that don't know, a center platform just means there's tracks on either side.
Yeah, this is one of those moments, Elizabeth, where in this time it's very frustrating because we're relearning new spaces.
Yes.
But the overall end goal is to make Union Station more accessible. So that's a good thing, right? So this is definitely some
Yes.
short-term pain, some
For
short-term
a long time.
frustration, but there's
Yeah.
going to be some significant gains made here.
And there is some braille signage. So I did want to point out that at the subway level, when you're going down to the tracks, there's braille signs at the top of the stairs that actually say, what kind of platform you're going to, whether it's Young or University. Now you have to know those are there. So I've let you know a little secret. And there is a plan, I believe, to get some signage in as well throughout the station. So
Mm.
definitely keep an eye out for that. And of course, use services like Balance CNIB to get some orientation and mobility, because once you know it again, it's like learning, you're good to go.
Yeah. I say short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yes.
I guess some folks would say 10 years is more than short-term. That's
I was
fair.
going to say medium term pain, maybe.
Medium-term pain. Yeah, there we go. We'll move the horizon there. Hey, Elizabeth, moving on to a different part of the city. You wanted to talk about Toronto's Out of This World Cafe located at the CAMH. So what caught your attention about this cafe?
Dave, I'm always interested in businesses that are doing things a little bit differently and helping the disability community. So, Out of This World is a social purpose enterprise. So, what that really means is they strive to support people with employment who maybe have experienced challenges with mental health, addiction, psychiatric survivors, consumers of psychiatric services. And what I love about this is it's supported employment. So, maybe you're somebody that can work 10 hours one week and then the next week's not so great, so you can only work 2. What's beautiful about Out of This World is they build that into the schedule for their employees. So I love the fact that it's social purpose enterprise. It's actually part of a broader sort of consumer movement of restaurants that are supported by Working for Change, which is an organization that supports and provides financial support to organizations that want to employ people with mental health disabilities.
Mm.
And so what I like about this is it shows in the hospital other patients that, hey, there's options and opportunities, but it also shows the community that work is possible for people with different types of disabilities, and it breaks down that stigma. There are 2 locations now, and we've got those on the blog. There's one, like Dave said, at the Center for Addiction and Mental Health. There's quite a large space outdoors to eat, so we can all be safe and physical distance. They also do catering. So if you're having an event, anywhere from 5 to over 100 people, check out their website. They've got some great options. And what I love is on the website too, you can see some testimonials about what it means to have a job from some of the employees that work there. And there's a great video that's done by the director just about how Working for Change and certainly Out of This World Cafe do things a little bit differently, but really want to show that everybody wants to be seen and make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love a good social enterprise. And Elizabeth, as you mentioned, these contact details are going to go up on the blog after the show, ami.ca/nowblog. But I'll share them right now really quickly just so folks have an idea. 416-535-8501 extension 33006 is the telephone number. That's 416-535-8501 extension 33006. Or you can head over to the website otwcafe.com, otwcafe.com. I'm thinking about coffee, just reading that copy.
Oh, just a coffee cart, Dave. Are you going to send me some?
Absolutely, Elizabeth. Hey, listen, we're getting to the point where you and I can have coffee together. We're like right on the precipice of a little bit of being able to hang out together moving forward. Hey, Elizabeth, speaking of, one of the things that might allow us to move forward is vaccination programs and getting more folks vaccinated. And some Ontario residents with disabilities are now going to be able to have free rides to get access to their COVID-19 vaccines. Now, I reported this a couple of weeks ago on the show, but Elizabeth, it's worth revisiting with you. How do these rides work and who can access the service?
Yeah, so this is the Accessible Drive to Vaccine program, and we've got links up on the website, but this is really done through the Ontario Community Support Association. So all through Ontario, if you're somebody that lives with a disability, does not have access to public transportation, friends, family, community networks, etc., you can actually book a ride to your vaccine. Now, a couple of things, Dave. You have to have your vaccine booked for that day. So you can't book a ride and then show up and hope to get a vaccine. And the other thing you need to remember is that you can have one support person with you for the ride. There is no cost. The other thing that's really important to remember is that you may get the same person going and coming back, or you may not, just depending on availability. But it's really important to do your research ahead of time. Make sure you have a vaccine booked and that you're able to convey that when you book your ride. It's also really important to remember to give as much notice again as possible when you're trying to book your rides, just because of limited availability, and really that these rides, again, accessible drive to vaccine, are for people that either don't have access to public transportation or who live in areas where that's difficult. And again, it's for seniors, people with disabilities, and you can bring one support person or one caregiver. And I think this is great because a lot of the barriers I'm hearing about with getting to vaccine appointments, Dave, is the transportation. So
Yes.
this is a really great workaround, and I really encourage people to take advantage of this. I've got some links up there. You can learn more about it, but do try to get those rides booked.
Definitely, that was my biggest hang up in the early days of trying to find a spot where I could get my vaccine that was either walking distance or whatnot. Eventually, I had some people in my circle pick it up and actually drive me to the vaccination clinic, which was super helpful, but we know not everybody has that privilege. So a program like this, fantastic idea. I'm going to share the website right now, but as mentioned, ami.ca/nowblog is where you can find this stuff after the show. OntarioCommunitySupport.ca, OntarioCommunitySupport.ca, or info@ocsa.on.ca. That's all going up on the blog after the show, ami.ca/nowblog. Hey, Elizabeth, always great catching up with you.
You too, Dave.
Talking to you tonight on a conference call. So
You
looking
bet.
forward to a double dose of Elizabeth Mohler today.
And hopefully after our vaccines and we've had those rides, we can get that coffee at Out of This World Cafe.
Heck yes. Sounds good to me. Elizabeth Mohler is our community reporter in Toronto, Ontario. I'll give you that website one more time, ami.ca/nowblog. Do you want to dive into more conversations like this? Watch Now with Dave Brown weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on AMI TV or download the podcasts wherever you listen.